Azelf Legendary, welcome back to another Paul Master video, and today we're going to go over the Azelf Legendary Arena that's dropping tonight, and, you know, some things that you might want to do beforehand, right? If you guys still need to grind level caps for some units and all that stuff with stamina, we could probably go over that a bit, right? So, anyways, just a quick review of what Azelf's Legendary Arena really entails, right? So, Legendary Arena Azelf is weak to bug type. Unlike the Latios one, it won't be changing types, so that's pretty good, right? So you don't have to worry about, again, you know, type changing, all that stuff. And it doesn't have any sides as well, so it's just gonna be like one. It's kind of it's gonna be like the Entei and Cobalion ones, which honestly were kind of harder. Except for Azelf, there really isn't too many special stipulations that you really have to worry about, right? So let's go over this. So the biggest thing about Azelf is like it switches between high physical defense and high special defense. We're not exactly sure if it's like a shield, if it's like just, you know, stat buffs, or if it's just raw stats. If it is a shield or if it's stat buffs, it won't be that big of an issue, because if you just give your striker a crit, you could just bypass that, right? The big issue would be if it like swaps its stat numbers, right? Like its raw stats, if they swap those, you know, if it starts out, if it starts out with like very, very high physical defensive stats, and then after a gauge it turns into like very high special defense stats instead, then that could be an issue, right? But if it's just referring to like shields or whatever, barriers, it's not a huge deal. Anyways, let's talk about it, like what it has. It has a plethora of different moves, right? Again, this is only for its first gauge, it seems like, the first phase. I would assume similar type moves, except just more powerful, because none of these are really powerful, right? Flamethrower, energy balls, and headbutt, fire punch, ice punch, they all kind of suck. So one thing to keep in mind is that sync move does seem to be like a physical move, psychic impact, which is kind of weird. I mean, Azelf is, I mean, yeah, it's a physical sync move. But yeah, a lot of different types. So we don't exactly know what your tank really needs to be. But just make sure it's not like weak to anything. At least any of these, right? As for some other stuff, it has Defense Crush 4, Mind Games 4, you know, lowers your own physical special defenses, all that stuff. Lesser Burn, Lesser Poison, Lesser Trap, that's whatever, honestly. Emergency Barrier and Tactical Shake Up, for those who don't exactly remember what those are, right? We could go over that, including myself. Oh, they also have a damage reduction that sends to sync moves on the third bar, so there's that as well. Let's see, where's the, because emergency, where is it? Not emergency. What's the other one? Oh yeah, emergency barrier. That's a new one, I believe, right? Emergency barrier. Which one does it correspond to? Once per battle, reduce physical damage done to all allied field of play when in a pinch. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Although they don't really operate by the rules. Maybe in their sense, in a pinch means once every time you go through the halfway mark through the gauge. You know, every time you go through the halfway mark, something happens with the legendary Pokemon, right? For example, Latios it uses telekinesis for the first time, and then second time I think is like a sure crit, sure hit, like earthquake or something, or surf, something like that. But you know, usually something happens. And the other one was what, tactical shake up, right? That's what the second last one has. This one with both physical and special moves. That's that's description for Luzmin has a good chance of lowering the special defense of all opposing sync pairs when an attack is successful. Is that it? No, that's not it. Do we not have the, I don't think we have the exact details of tactical shake up yet. But anyways, regardless, we'll see what it is later once the thing comes out. But yeah, that's basically what we got for ourselves. Honestly, it doesn't really seem too difficult if you compare it to like any of the other ones. Like the Cobalion one increases damage when it's status. You know, you have to kind of keep that in mind. And you know, had other stipulations. Like, it doesn't really seem like it's a huge deal, unless like it's just like very, very large stat numbers, raw stat numbers on the defenses that get swapped between the gauges, which could potentially be an issue. But otherwise, it seems not exactly threatening. But who knows? Last time when we were just reading the descriptions for the Latios Legendary Arena, it looked really, really complicated, and it turns out it was relatively easy, right? So, yeah, let's talk about some sync pairs, right? So let's just talk about strikers here, honestly. It's weak to bug, and thankfully there's a lot of bug type strikers in this game. Beedrill is a striker, Pinsir's a striker, Gallistopod's a striker, Pheromosa is a striker, Livani is a striker, and then you have like, Egg Scyther, which is also a phenomenal striker, right? So let's go over these, right? I think obviously the best one over here is Luzamine, because it switches between, since Azelf switches between physical and special, Luzamine has both physical and special moves, right? With Lunge being physical and Bug Buzz being special. So it's kind of sort of designed for Luzamine over here, right? I mean, if you've got Luzamine, it's probably going to destroy the Legendary Arena without much issue over here, right? However, there is one thing about Luzamine that I don't think helps her at all in the Legendary Arena, which is that her passive positive reinforcement, since there's only one opponent, it drastically raises attack and special attack when it knocks out an opponent with a move. So since there's only one opponent, you can't really activate this. So you probably would have to bring a offensive support for Luzamine, which is relatively rare. You generally don't really need to bring offensive support for Luzamine, right? Just because our passive is so powerful, right? But in this case, you probably need that. So yeah, Luzamine, pretty straightforward. Should be able to get the job done without much issue. The next best one I actually think is probably Berg, right? I think Berg is probably the next best one here, because with Berg, you have like a lot of options, and Bug Buzz is especially good here, and especially Berg's Bug Buzz, because Berg's Bug Buzz, you have passive on a roll, and then on Berg's grid, you also have 2 extra honor rolls, and that's extremely good for Legendary Arena, because it's basically just one Pokemon that takes a while to take out, right? And that means all the honor roll like decreases, special defense decreases from Berg, stays with the opponent, right? So that I think is very, very positive for Berg, right? Which is why I do think Berg is probably one of the better options over here against the Legendary Arena. So Berg should be really, really good here. Also, if you want Silver One Fortuitous, that should do same effect over there, except Bug Buzz is more damage. So yeah, Berg should be a good option here as well. And then you got like stuff like Scyther, and don't sleep on Scyther. Like if you guys got, well, I mean not at 1 star, but if we get the free potential tickets to raise it up stars, and Scyther's definitely worth it. It's really good. Like its damage is on par with Berg, like gridded Berg, right? And this guy doesn't even have a grid, and he has on par damage with Berg. Obviously, Berg has some other stuff that it has, right? The triple honor roll, right, which is really, really good. Move gauge refresh that Scyther doesn't have. One thing I don't really like about Scyther is that it switches between. I mean, well, it might be good for this stage because you got Bug Buzz, which is special, and then you got like Slash, which is physical, which Slash gets Bug Shift, so it's like a bug type Slash, and then like your sync move is physical. So maybe Scyther, now that I think about it, Scyther is going to be actually really, really good for this stage. And then you also got Crit Strike 3, which powers up attacks if they become crits. Obviously, Bug Buzz is your go-to move over here, but if it proves to be, that the gimmick is really actually powerful and influential in terms of physical and special splits, then you also have that option of going to Slash as well, right? And then moving on, Guzma should be fine for this one. I mean, again, the dude has a monster attack stat. If you have 3 out of 5, like here's the thing about Guzma though. If you have Guzma or Glisspot at 1 out of 5 or even 2 out of 5, it's just not that as good, right? 3 out of 5 Guzma is still a monster, right? No quarter, all these pin missiles, 2 pin missile move gauge refreshes. Like this guy hits like a truck. On only 2 gauge moves with 2 move gauge refreshes, right? But at 105, it's really not the case. What you could probably actually do is like Berg, Guzma, and Luzmine, and honestly even Nolan, right? None of these guys really have gauge issues. Guzma 2 MP refreshes on a 2 gauge move is its big damage dealing move. Luzmine has like absolutely bonkers speed, right? And also she has passive move gauge refresh with like move gauge refresh on every single move, so double move gauge refresh on top of like just insane speed. And then Berg, for those who don't remember, actually on the trainer move gets +6 speed, right? So all like, and Nolan is a 1 gauge move spammer. So like if you really want, you could maybe even run double striker. So if you want, to prepare, you could maybe get some skill orbs to get some, bug type skill increases, right? That you could run. So that could be a low-key really powerful thing. Like again, and the other thing is, or the other upside to maybe running double striker on this is, like, if Azelf really, like, again, if the whole physical special defense split thing is a huge deal, then you could run like one physical bug striker and then one special bug striker on the same team, and then you would have both covered, right? For example, Guzma and Berg. One's Berg is special, Guzma's physical, right? You'll be doing most of your damage with Berg when the opponent's special defense is low, and you'll be doing most of your damage with Guzma when the opponent's physical damage or defense is low, right? So that's also something that you could consider. Remember, type skill orbs give you an extra 40 buff and damage, or attack / special attack, which is huge, right? So there's that. Moving on to the last two, the 3-star and 4-star over here. Bugsy and Beedrill is not really great. It does kind of suffer the same thing that Luzmine kind of does over here, except Luzmine's actually good in this scenario. But the thing is, like, the big upside for Beedrill, other than its really good attack stat, is that Fell Stinger drastically raises attack when it knocks out a target with this move. You're not knocking out anything, so you're not getting this boost over here, right? Which is slightly unfortunate. Tornado could poison the opponent, which is nice, right? So that's the thing about Bugsy, and Noland is just not as good as it used to be anymore, unfortunately. However, it's not terrible for a Legendary Arena, because you could just keep building Fury Cutter. I think Fury Cutter caps at like 60 or something. There actually is, I believe, a cap for Fury Cutter. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Nolan should be fine as well if you really don't have anything else to use. Even if you just want to like use X Scissor, should be fine. And again, Nolan, you could also run like maybe a double striker with this, right? It's potentially possible. And the last one I do want to kind of touch on is Violent Masquerain. Violent Masquerain doesn't seem like it does much damage on its kit, but it does have like some stuff that you could work with on its sync grid if you do have Masquerain gridded, right? Well, it can also tank hits relatively well with its good defenses, and then you got First Aid over here as well. As for some other stuff, offensively, you do have where's it? There, stationary target 5, stationary target 5. You got stationary target 10 over here, and then Raging Rain 5. So you could potentially get an extra, 150 on Viola. Although Viola's biggest downside is all these moves are 2-gauge moves that don't do much damage on their own, but once you do get all this stuff, you should be doing solid damage, right? And then trap damage that also goes through as DOT. It should be nice. Poke trap too, right? So anyways, yeah, that's me with this one, I guess. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know, guys, think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel, some more Opponent Masters content. Good luck when the Legendary Arena comes out, and yeah, I'll see you guys at reset with the arena then.